And we're live on the book face. So I'm just going to pop over. I just want to confirm that everybody can hear me. Okay, can everybody hear me? Can everybody see my screen? We good to go?
Yep.
Doing good here.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, so as we sit here and we're at the precipice of another major event in our worlds that we've never seen before. And as I was preparing for this, I was thinking back in my own life, really about some of the experiences I've had where I've been fortunate enough to come through them unscathed. But some major events that I've experienced in my life, and you guys have too, I'm sure. But 9/11 was huge, game changing. First time we ever grounded all the major airlines. And at the time, I happened to be in airports. I was running restaurants in 4 different major airports, and we were busy as heck one minute, and we were done the next. So I, made it through that. In 2008, financial crisis. I had a bunch of restaurants at the time. I had lots of business going on. I had already launched my consulting company, and wham, out of nowhere, the bubble bursts, and we get clobbered. You have restaurants all over. You have different interests going on, and next thing you know, it's hard as hell to even move the meter even just an inch. And everybody kind of went down in what they were doing from how they were dining, and habits changed. But we dug out of that, and here we go. Now we have our first, real pandemic in my lifetime. And, we have to fight through it. So everybody that I talk to, and I'm literally on the phone all day, every day. And I have a couple big projects going on that I'm going to share with you guys, because when the going gets tough, it's when, the tough get going. So right now, everybody I either talk to is polarized on, they're freaking out. They don't know what to do. The sky is falling. Or, you have the people that are like, oh my God, I can work on my business, not in my business. I can fix my shit, is what I've been calling it. But you fix your stuff now. Now's the time to come out of this and get organized. I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. They just, put us on lockdown. So I was waiting, because I was very, very hesitant to kind of get some momentum going and then it get put on lockdown for 2 weeks. And I've been dying for them to just do it, because I knew it was coming. I didn't want to keep going and figuring out how to work in the environment that we're in. And then all of a sudden it gets ripped out from underneath you. So, hey, they ripped it out from underneath us. It's going to continue to happen. And if it hasn't happened in your neck of the woods, it certainly could and probably will. It seems like that's the right answer right now, to really slow this thing down and hopefully curb it. So hopefully what we're doing as a nation, and what we're doing in individual cities and towns, is going to make the difference that we need, so we can come out of this quickly. You hear lots of people, and there's crazy things online that you're going to hear, and there's crazy news and fake news. One of the things that, people talking about, this extending on for months and months. I got to tell you, everything that I understand about what's going on and the current cycle, and even in China, they're getting back to business, transportation's running. The cycle isn't that long. So with that, knowing that, and hopefully it won't be any worse here, and we're a little bit ahead of it, and we have better medical systems than most countries, and hopefully we will be able to keep it in check. People are going to get sick. I was sick a couple weeks ago. I may have had it for all I know. Hopefully I did, and I'm out of it, and I'm on the other side. But I've been pretty much locked down myself for 2 weeks, and now I'm definitely locked down for 2 more. And this is the time that all I'm doing right now is on my own businesses, as well as with my clients. Right now, we're really fixing our stuff, and we're moving the meter dramatically, not for today, but for what's going to happen in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And the people that I work with and what we do in our business that I'm going to share today is really about setting us up with a very simple plan on what you need to do and what you need to work on right now so that you are ready to capitalize on the other side of it. So this isn't profiteering, selling masks, doing all that stuff. This is about true hardcore business. The same things that I've been talking about for the past year about what we need to do and what we need to do to be successful. And sure enough, it's the same exact formula. It's just slightly different. So let's dive into it a little bit here. I see Mr. Borman's out there. I got some folks there on Facebook as well. Hello, hello. If you guys are on Facebook and you guys want to comment, you have questions, feel free to plug those right in. And any of you guys that are actually tied into the Zoom with me, go ahead and put them there. And then it's also broadcasting on our membership site. So if you guys have comments, I'm managing a couple different screens. Bear with me. Don't yell at me. I'm very, very fragile. Jimmy, can you hear me, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. I opened up the mic for a gentleman named Jimmy Borneman. Jimmy, I'm so excited to see you on this. Jimmy Borneman and I, we work together. We are thick as thieves. We work on every single project, every single company that I have. He works on everything that he does, I work on. And we've known each other for years, and he's fantastic. And I'm so glad you're here, Jimmy. And I hope you chime in and give us some of your own feedback, and you can talk a little bit more about the digital stuff.
Anything
Awesome.
that we can do to help.
Awesome. Just so everybody knows, Jimmy is a marketing master, and he's really like heavily weighted on the IT side, marketing automation, connecting all your stuff. If you guys wonder how I get everything connected, the secret is Jimmy. So
You're too kind.
No, you are. You put up with me every day. God bless you. Okay, so as we go, the first thing that I always talk about, and I'm not going to dive into it today, but it's a model that I follow whenever I do business, whenever I even talk to somebody, even for the first time ever. I always follow a model called GROW: goals, reality, opportunity, way forward. You got to know what your goals and objectives are. You got to have a realistic picture of where you are today. Then you have to understand that as you move forward, there's lots of opportunities. You need to pick the right ones. And one of the things I see lots of people do is they pick the wrong ones, the easy ones, and their way forward isn't as productive as they want or can be. In our world, we map this out, we follow it, we track it every month, we go back and back and back, and we constantly update that model right there, GROW. It's that simple. But the reality of the GROW model is it really starts out with laying the foundations of your goals, which to me is really about planning. So, if you're going to be doing anything, you need to lay out a fundamental plan about what you're going to do to move forward. Everybody should be working off a plan. Every day you should have a plan of some sort. People that run into their day without a plan get managed by everything except for their goals. They get managed by their email. They get managed by the phone calls. Their employees manage the hell out of them. They spend a lot of time with $10 an hour employees and not really ringing the register at the value and revenue that they need to be generating. So you got to have a plan. It can be super simple. It can be super complex. Today, we're going to talk about the simple plan, and it's really based off of understanding the GROW model and then implementing a plan based off of having an accurate picture of your financials and then what we call the 6 pillars. So right now, I want everybody out there to really, the mission that I've put to the people that I work with and the people that are around us the most is pretty simple. It's protect our interests, maintain our relationships, and find new innovative ways to grow. So if you guys don't know this is I guess sort of an announcement. It's been kind of announced very much on the back end of everybody who knows me. But I recently had the opportunity to acquire the majority share of Pronto Wash Management. So in addition to Success Systems, in addition to Restaurant Success Systems, where I work with restaurants, you probably know that I built the largest mobile car care company in the world called Spiffy. And that I stepped away from last year, almost a year ago. my year is up, and I've now taken control of a company called Pronto Wash, 17 locations all across the country. And the cool thing is it's very different from what I've been doing in the sense of how they're structured. It's a franchise company, so it's pretty cool in that vein. It's completely structured different when we go into a market, but we're delivering services, we're delivering them mobily, and currently we're doing mobile car wash as well as fixed site car washing at malls. So you guys understand, I do that. I'm the chairman and the CEO for Pronto Wash Management, and I do it every single day in addition to working with my clients. So I'm plugged in right now. So I inherited a company, I took over, and this is the first major thing that we've had to tackle. The past month, we were laying the groundwork for the making changes, fixing it, and growing it. And I followed the same model. I looked at the basics of what we had from a people, a systems, an operations perspective. And I went through my business assessment. It's a tool that I use myself. And I mapped out everything we had going well, everything we didn't have going well. And then I prioritized what we were going to work on and fix. We've been moving very well on that front for a few weeks. And then, here we go. COVID's out there. And all of a sudden, all the mall locations shut down. And the way I describe it, and Jimmy, you can attest, when I talk to Jimmy about this, when you take over a company like that and, multi-million-dollar company operating all over, it's literally like trying to fix a car that's going down the road about 80 miles an hour and you're out on the hood, like, gripping the hood, trying to like fix the headlight. Jimmy, does it feel like that sometimes?
Almost every day.
Yeah. So the cool thing is, okay, and this is where like, you can choose how you look at and view the world. The whole COVID-19 thing for me, it allowed me to like pull the car over. It allowed me to take a breath. I run really, really hard. I'm very aggressive. I work long hours. I'm not afraid to work. I actually love it. Like I'm one of those guys that, if I retired, I'd probably be dead in a week. I'd be bored out of my mind.
You'd go acquire another company.
Yeah, exactly right. I'd be the Walmart greeter. So this was just an opportunity that I've never experienced before. I was able to pull the car over, walk around the car, listen to the car a little bit, figure out what the car needs, check the oil, check the brakes, check everything I need to check. And right now we figured out what we need to do to get the car back on the road. But now when I get back out on the road, instead of being, on the hood at 80 miles an hour, I'm going to be behind the steering wheel at 100. So I feel really good about that. And the stuff that I'm talking about today is exactly what we did. So the first thing we had to tackle, closed locations, we had to, I had to furlough, about 50 people. And that's really like not the thing I like to do. If anything, that is my least favorite thing to do. And I'm not talking about, I'm not afraid to fire somebody. And I've never actually fired somebody. What do I say, Jimmy? I've never fired anybody. They've always fired themselves.
Right.
But this is just different. This is like a completely game-changing environment. And so, I had to lay people off. I wrote letters. I've helped people personally through this. And, it was tough, and it still is tough because we still need to do a lot of things to move our company forward, but I really can't afford to have just payroll out there and people not doing anything. So that was one of the first things we did. We did that last week. And then this week has really been about exploring the opportunity that we have. So we have mobile services. We didn't have a lot of mobile services going on. This week we've engineered everything. So between last week and this week, including over the weekend, Jimmy and I have built an amazing system inside of the marketing automation software that I always talk about and that my clients use and that you guys can have access to. We built it all inside of there. So it actually ties all together. The only processing that's done outside of that is for credit cards. But the appointment can come in, it's managed through there, it connects to a calendar, it puts it on the calendar, and we can assign it to our technicians, and boom, an instant mobile system that's going to serve 17 markets here in the next 2 weeks. So pretty cool stuff. That was like right out of the gate. Get organized, centralize offices, and set it up that we can take, communications and inbound communications from customers and deploy our guys outbound. And we're still doing that today. So in Tampa, And in Boca in Florida, I still have trucks on the road today. And it's, we're doing sanitation, we're doing sanitizing things, we're doing all kinds of things to help. But the reality is we're just servicing people where they want to be serviced. It's a convenience model. It always has been. People aren't at office buildings, so hey, we'll go to their homes. It works out really well. It works out really great for those people that I've worked with that have shops. If you have a shop, you have 2 bays, you can only do so much work. Well, if you can go mobile somehow and you can bring in more customers that way, you can expand your business exponentially. So it's something that everybody, I think, should think about, especially on the automotive detailing side of the world. So it brings me to other things. You look at what are businesses doing right now and how are they adapting? I'm plugged into the restaurant business really heavily. Well, right now, I mean, people that have never done delivery before are doing delivery. People that are doing a tremendous amount of takeout business right now, just trying to keep their mainstay employees intact and paid, right? They've had a tremendous amount of layoffs. There's a ton of talk about how that industry is going to, be handled and supported. And there's going to be loans and grants and, unemployment benefits have all changed. So I think it's fantastic, but I'm really impressed with the people that literally on a dime were able to flip, drop curbside pickup, text in to pick up your order when you get there, all kinds of really cool, nimble things that we've seen for people that are really just trying to make it and survive. The reality of the picture is that as we go forward and as we come out of this, there's a tremendous amount of opportunity for all of us. It sucks, but not every business will survive this, and people will have to shut their businesses. And, so if you're, in retail and brick and mortar, there'll be opportunities as we come out of this. It'll be a slow roll, but people won't be able to come back. There'll be opportunities to get different locations, to get some real, I'm not going to say bargains, it's on somebody else's back, but there'll be some opportunities to get some really advantageous financial arrangements set up for now and the future. For the car washing and detailing business, we're actually getting a lot of great exposure. I think the IDA has done a beautiful job of communicating, why we should be classified as an essential business. Ironically, the job classification for automotive detailing falls under automotive services, which is an essential service. So we could always argue that, but the thing that I see everybody doing right now is they're really working on fixing their stuff. So it's internal. It's all that stuff that you avoid, you don't like to do. It's hashing together your websites and connecting everything. And Jimmy, you and I, when I get a little bit into the marketing, I want to talk exactly what we're doing with that. Is that cool with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
So right now, fundamentally, you need to protect your own interests. You need to maintain your relationships, and you need to find innovative ways to grow. One of the things that I keep talking about with everybody is, in our business right now, being positioned with Pronto Wash, I'll talk about first, being positioned as a franchise company, it's created an amazing amount of opportunity. Everybody understands right now that, even though the stock market, took a hard bounce and is starting to perform a little bit better, everybody realized how volatile that is. And so cash starts to be pulled out and it gets put on the side. Well, when it's on the side, it's not making any money. So people start to look at how do they invest their money. So the beautiful thing is that, we've had a real outcrying of people looking at our company to invest in. So if you guys know me, that's one of the strategies that I use to grow business is we take on investment. And it creates a larger opportunity for investment into the company as we move forward. One of the things that we can do differently than everybody else out there is we know how to grow the business. We have a formula that we use to be able to take locations and grow them very rapidly, very quickly. And the beauty of this is anybody selling anything right now, doesn't matter what you're selling except door-to-door vacuums. But if you're not selling door-to-door vacuums and you sell anything, your people are stuck, your people are trapped, and they can hide as much as they want behind their phone and their email. But the reality is that they have nothing better to do. If you're trying to sell and get into office buildings to do services, man, now's the time to do it. And if you know how to do that and you know how to build that, then you can absolutely conquer that right now. I get responses better than I've ever gotten before. And our goal was when we come out of this is that we have another 10 locations. I mean, to add 10 locations during this type of time is it sounds insane, but for us, we know how to do it. And when we come out, businesses comes back, people come back to their offices, and there you go. There's Pronto Wash. We're standing there, ready to service them, at their home or at their work. And it's a great model. So if you guys aren't doing it, you got to think about those innovative ways that you can grow. So I do want to talk about a little bit about taking care of yourself. So this is a time where you personally, mentally, physically, you have to take care of yourself. This is not the time to go into a deep, dark place, which could very easily happen. Not many people are used to working from home. Jimmy and I, we've been doing it for years. And I got to tell you, in the early days, if I didn't get up and take a shower right out of the gate, I'd be in my damn underwear until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Jimmy, ever experience that?
Oh yeah, I had to teach myself to get dressed, and that helps me put the game face on. If I'm in my pajama pants, I think it's just kind of like a Saturday, but if you don't actually physically get, I call it business casual, you're screwed.
Yeah. So one of the things that I encourage everybody is you have to have a routine. And it's another one of the fundamentals that I teach, I talk about, I give away daily planners. So I'm telling you, you got to have a routine. You got to write yourself a schedule, and you got to keep it, even though it'll be very easy. One of the things that I think most of us are not used to is being so closely tied to our family and loved ones. To be at home and now everybody's in the same space is really, really difficult. So I would encourage you to carve out, it could be a closet for all I care, but carve out a space that's yours. Carve out a quiet place that you can think and you can get stuff done. The guest room, somewhere, the garage, it's always my favorite. I have a beautiful shed loaded with tools. I'll go hide in the shed. I got internet out there. So, little things like that. You got to set yourself a schedule. You got to keep yourself on track. You got to write a plan every day, and you got to execute on that plan. And then shut it off. Take that time. There's nothing that says that, if you don't put in your time, you don't have to think about it and worry about it all day and all night. You still got to take time, and you got to do stuff with the family. And I suggest scheduling some stuff with the family, if it's game night or things like that. Whatever you can do to keep everybody on some type of structure. Otherwise, it'll get away from you. The kids will be, up until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I have teenagers, and next thing you know, the whole house is like upside down. So I encourage everybody to take care of yourself, your family, and get some structure going on. I talked a little bit about it, but, goal setting. And so I talked about the GROW model, which is goals, reality, opportunity, way forward. Well, you got to start somewhere. You have to have goals. You have to, you need to write down your goals. Your goals right now, if you don't sit down and write down your goals, you're making a fundamental mistake. Even if you did it with me back in January. So in January, we always do a big goal setting workshop. If you did your goals with me in January, they're different. You may still have the same goals, but the reality is completely different. So now's the time to do that. I open that up to everybody. So if you guys don't know this, there's a site connected with Success Systems where I give away a whole bunch of free resources. One of the ones that I give away the business assessment, where you can get that real picture of your business. I give away the strategic plan, so you can actually map out, your plan in a nice, concise format. And then the newest thing that we've added, we actually have a whole entire marketing snapshot that Jimmy and his team put together, where you guys can, all you do is you put in your basic business information, and it will go and search, what is it, over 100 different listings, Jimmy?
Yep.
All your SEO, all your speed tests for your website, everywhere you're listed and connected online comes back to you in a really nice, concise report. And right now we're giving that away free. We normally charge. That's like something we do for our clients that we don't, I never shared with the world before. We're giving that away. So on successsystemhub.com, you guys can get that. And I'll put the link here in the Facebook when I'm done. But all of that stuff is available to you guys. We want you to take advantage of it. That's how you start and you formulate your goals, you understand and you assess your business, and you put your plan together, all those tools are there and available for you. The Jumpstart kit's out there. I know I saw Paul on the call. Paul's one of those guys I know that has the Jumpstart kit from last year when I gave it away. Guess what? It's back out there. I'll put a link there for everybody. You guys can have it. But I really, really want you guys to take advantage of this stuff right now. So, the biggest thing that I've talked to everybody, including my employees, myself, everybody I know, the next biggest thing that everybody needs to do is you need to take a financial inventory. So we always talk about know your numbers, and normally it's your operational numbers, your sales, your labor, things like that. Right now, you should be going back and looking at every single bill that you have, and is it necessary? Is it not necessary? Right? Do I need payroll right now? I don't have any employees. Is that really something I need to pay for every month? And it's funny because of the one thing that people have not done. They haven't disconnected from me in the services that I provide. I think that's really interesting. I've talked to all my clients directly, and the only person that we suspended his account, and we did this on purpose. And Jimmy knows the gentleman. It's a guy I've worked with for a decade on his restaurants, and he just doesn't need all the stuff and bells and whistles that we have. I still have him doing coaching. I still have him doing all that stuff, but he doesn't need the marketing automation right now that he pays for. We paused all of his stuff. I have no problem with that. I understand how difficult it is. But the cool thing is that all my other clients, we've all doubled down, and we're all having conversations like this around what do we do now? How do we do it? And the biggest thing I've told them, and I'll tell everyone, right now is a great time to jump on my back. I'm going to share as much as I can publicly on a day-to-day basis about the steps I'm taking right now to grow my businesses. And I'm going to share it. You guys can see it. Hopefully we'll get some better live video. We'll try to make it fun, and we'll film it. Jimmy, I think I should film it like a reality TV show.
It could be a lot of fun.
It feels like a reality TV show every day. If you guys saw how crazy it is, it's nuts some days around here. We did a live show like that once, except this is real, Jonathan. It's not. This is real. Yeah, this is not made up. So, I just want everybody to know as I move forward, this is like a time, just pay attention, and I'm going to share it all with you, no charge. I want people to come out of this as best they can. Okay, so as we go forward, so again, you got to know your numbers, go look at your bills. Your financial summary is one of those things that I always talk about. As far as tracking it, it's not as important today, but you got to understand it. But now is the time to really look at your KPIs, key performance indicators in your business. If you've never taken the time to identify them, go back to your last good week and figure out those things. And KPIs can be for a range of things. They can be based off of operations. They can be based off of marketing. They can be based off of systems. They can be based off of defects. Right? Now's a time to start working with the data that you have. The data is the way that we make decisions in our businesses. So, you come to me and you want to do something in the business. What's the first thing I do, Jimmy? What do the numbers tell me?
You're breaking up a little bit. What was the question?
I said, what is the first thing? Anybody wants to try something
absolutely.
new with the business? I got to see the data. I got to know what.
Yeah, what are the numbers?
Yeah, what are the numbers? Tell me. I know you feel this. But what are the customers?
If you don't have the numbers.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
And if you don't have the numbers, yeah, we're having some internet difficulty. Everybody's home on Netflix.
Oh my God.
If you don't know your numbers, man, you can't make any decisions.
Yeah, now's the time to go get all of your numbers. And, I can show you some dashboard stuff. I'm not going to do it today. I'm going to keep this simple today. But as we go, I'm going to show you guys some of the tools that Jimmy and I use on a regular basis. I'm going to give you guys some deep insight into it. And if you guys want, anybody that plugs into this, if you want us to look at your business, and I'll even share it if you're open to us sharing it with the world, I'm happy to do that for anybody. But we use some really, really, really cool, effective tools these days. We look at everything. Right now, Jimmy's biggest mission with everybody that we work with is really plugging them in and getting them connected. And it used to really be about financials and systems and operations, but most of our clients are through that phase of the business, And now they're all working on, really strapping this together so they can get data, they can make decisions, and then they can market very aggressively. And we're going to talk about that here. So as you're putting your simple plan together, KPIs, key performance indicators, are really important. The next big thing that I do, and I use this model every time I write a plan, I follow, and I always use what I call the pillars of success. Okay. So the pillars for us are people, operations, marketing, sales, management, and financials. And they all live on a solid foundation of systems, right? And systems I used to talk about as being a pillar, but the reality is that every one of those sections of your business needs its own systems, some of which are digital, some of which are manual. But systems, and that's where success systems comes from. It's every one of those pillars has systems that you should be using. Right now we talked a little bit about people. If you've been in that situation where you've had to lay off some staff, I feel for you. The biggest thing you need to look at on your plan now is when you come back, how are you going to bring people back? How are you going to set yourself up for the future? You still need a people plan. Right now, the irony is I'm recruiting, and it's a great time to be recruiting. Lots of people have been put out of work, or they've had to take a serious, significant look at what they're doing for an occupation and how vulnerable they are. And you know what? Lots of people are looking for work. The reality is that they're not going to find a lot of stuff today because everything's shut down. But if you know what you have coming up, and if you know the markets that you're going to serve, and you know the needs that you have, now's a great time to have those conversations. Nobody says you got to hire anybody on the spot, but God, the best people that I've ever hired, the people that have worked out the best for me, they've never specifically been those one-time interview type of things. I've had very few of those in my life, but the ones that I've had and I've started conversations with, and we've come back and we've come back and we've come back, those are the ones that have a lot of value, because by the time you onboard them, you already have this kind of understanding. You guys see things alike. You've had great conversations. So what better thing to do than now is to have conversations with people that you might want to introduce to your business. So I really do encourage you guys to put a plan together for what the ideal staffing for your location looks like. And if you need to start having conversations about getting people on board for what's going to come in the future. The other thing to do is fix your shit. Okay. If you don't have a good onboarding process, fix it. If you don't have a good recruiting process, fix it. Okay. And I outline all of this inside of success systems and detailer success systems and restaurant success systems. There is a formula for how to recruit people, and we give that away. You got to have a great recruitment. You got to be able to bring those people in. We've moved to video interviews. What's the irony of this? That, I over 2 years ago moved to video interviewing of people because we were losing people. They would apply, but they're applying for a lot of jobs. By the time we would actually get them in front of a manager, it would be a week and they would go away. I had moved to video interviews a long time ago. So, hey, here we are. Times are changing. Like Jimmy said, everybody's online right now. Everybody's doing video stuff. Implement it. It's the fastest way to get people hired. If you interview somebody and you like them, right? So the first thing we do is a phone screening. Then if we like them, we immediately, as quick as we can, that day, that minute, get them on a video conference with somebody that can do a video interview. I need to lay eyes on people when I hire them. I need to see their body language and how they're going to interact with our customers. So I'm telling you, right now is a great time to get that process in play. If you don't have all these things and you don't have the tools, now's the time to build them. The next big thing is, well, we're going to bring people back. Well, if I'm going to bring people back, I want everybody to understand that things are different. And now's the time to reorientate everybody and do some retraining when you start to bring people back. So if you don't have those systems in place, you need solid, an orientation checklist, right? It's 30 minutes, but it's everything that person needs to know. If you do it one time, what do you do in our world to rapidly create content, Jimmy?
Couldn't hear you, John.
What do you do to rapidly create content? What do we do? How do we figure out how to take something and turn it into 5 different things?
I don't know how to answer that one, Jonathan, but I'm imagining we make a video and then we rip it.
Right? So make a video. I talk about this all the time, right? So, do an orientation, do a fantastic orientation one time, record what you say. You take the recording and you can take the audio out of it. You can have the audio transcribed. Now you have a manual that you can apply, and it goes right with that. You give them the written stuff, you give them an oral. Now you can play them the video, and boom, you're not standing there for 30 minutes or an hour, and they're going to get the same orientation that everybody gets in your company moving forward. Everybody should know the same game rules and game plan, and you should be able to manage very differently if you can implement that one piece. After that, it's training. You got to have good written training. You got to implement training and hold training accountable. One of the things that I see, people think they have good training. People even have a written plan, but the reality is they never take the time to go back and really certify that that person knows that information. It's a mandatory thing in our companies that we sit down with that person after their training period and we go through their documentation to make sure that they've been trained on everything. And those are just real simple stopgaps. The other 2 big parts of people I talk about are, how you retain your people. What are you doing? What kind of incentives are you doing? What are you doing to develop them? So retention and development of your people are the other 2 big ones. If you don't have those things in play, now's a great time to build them. But if you got the fundamentals of a great onboarding process, a great recruiting process, a great onboarding process, a great training process, and if you don't have it, build it now. It'll change your whole world.
So true.
The next big one that I always jump into is operations. And right now you might be powered down. I'm powered down in operations. Does that mean that I'm not thinking about operations, how to make operations better, how to make it smoother? Now's the time that I'm making sure the truck checklists are perfect for the detailing business. Now's the time that I'm making sure that everybody that works with me has a daily, weekly, monthly. They got to have their own system that they have to be accountable for. What do they do every day? What do they do every week? What do they do every month? If you don't have those things for yourself, you need to have one. And if you don't have them for your employees, now's the time to put that in place. Operations takes a lot of different shapes and forms. The operations, I could probably spend a month on a video talking about operations. And if anybody gave me an example of their business, we could dive deep into it. But right now, I'd imagine that you're powered down. Take it as a blessing in disguise. You're allowed to pull the car over and you're allowed to fix some stuff. So, now's the time to do that. The other things that we should focus on, and this is where we're going to, so just on operations, if you guys are taking notes on this, right? You got to have daily, weekly, monthly. You got to have good checklists. It's got to be based off of services that you deliver, and it's got to have quality control. Those are kind of the fundamentals of operations that I always talk about. So the next big thing I want to talk about, and it's probably where we all can spend the most amount of time. I believe every one of us should be the marketer of their business. If you're a business owner, there's 3 things that I always talk about. You control. You should absolutely control all the legal stuff. You should always be well in control of your financials, and you absolutely should be the marketer and control the marketing for your business. None of that means that you should be doing $10 an hour work. There's everything has levels to it, and you can delegate out, but you should be the marketing machine for your business, and you should be the one that's really pushing that. That's where you leverage your talent to make more money. I mean, I can go out today and I can work on vehicles. I can go and I can, flip burgers in a restaurant, but at the end of the day, I'm just going to have some production done. I can go write a marketing campaign and put that together, and I can launch that. And that same amount of time that it would take me to actually do some physical work, that planning and preparation and putting in crafting, as I call it, that stuff makes me thousands upon thousands of dollars, and it makes me money forever compared to, getting stuck in the business of actually doing the work inside of your shop or inside of your company. So just keep that in mind.
Yep.
So Jimmy, let's talk about marketing. Let's talk about, kind of the big things right now that we're able to pause on the field and really get strapped together really, really well. So where do you want to go? You can guide this one, but I have my own thoughts, as you know.
Yeah, of course. The you just mentioned something, and it reminds me of I use the word stacking. So when we stack on Facebook post and an email, your existing clients, and then you do a YouTube video, but you're basically stacking all of your activity on top of each other. So you're hitting your people where they're at, kind of a thing, and you know your demographics better than anybody. So if somebody wants to do how to, forgive me, I don't know a lot about detailing, but if you want to learn how to shine your car, put up a YouTube video on how to do something, and people will find it and your name will get out there, that kind of a thing. You know, same thing with the automating email. Put out an email on an automation system every 7 days just so they know you're there. So if they're bored and they want to detail their car, or if they think they've got an extra $75 and they're tired of the way it looks, your email or your Facebook post or your Facebook page or even a Facebook ad hits them wherever they're at. So it's just what I wanted to start with, Jonathan. You can take it from there.
Yeah. So, so what Jimmy's talking about is 100% accurate. This is not the time to, shut yourself in and not communicate. But Jimmy, I got to tell you, we talk about it all the time. I mean, God, I've hundreds and hundreds of times you and I have talked about, everybody's got to have a list and everybody's got to be able to reach out to their customers when they want and how they want. And I'm telling you, people miss it every day. And I'm telling you right now, if everyone out there doesn't realize the importance of being able to reach out to your customers, to be able to communicate them what's going on in your business, to be able to communicate that your business is not operating or what you are doing. And then the biggest thing that it becomes super important is as we come out of this, you got to be able to invite them back. So if you do not have a system that manages your contacts, manages your communication, and it can automate some of that stuff for you, you guys have failed me miserably. Yeah. So at the least, right now is a great time to go and build that, to go and build some of the stuff that Jimmy was talking about. Now's the time to look at like what a sequence would look like for a customer that comes in, they become a member. If you have a club, they become, a part of your loyalty program, they're part of your rewards program, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter, but it's really about knowing who your customers are and then effectively communicating to them how they want to be communicated to when they want to be communicated. So at the least, we do email, right? Email is still one of the most valuable resources you have. Text is another huge one. You can't wear it out though. I got to caution people on that. Don't wear out the text. That's like direct access when you need it. The other big ones are all of your digital assets. So you have your website, you have your Facebook, you have your Instagram. If you're a brick and mortar business, you should have Yelp. Even if you don't pay Yelp, I'm not the biggest fan of paying Yelp. They nickel and dime you to death, and I don't know that it's any more effective than anything else that I do. But I'm telling you, you still, now is the time. Google My Business. Now is the time to understand those platforms if you have never taken the time to do it. Because right now, everybody's online, right? Everybody's at home, stuck with their computers, their tablets. I got tablets everywhere over here, and now's the time to look at your digital presence as much as anything else.
So true.
So Jimmy, one of the things that Jimmy does, and there's kind of two sides to the equation that we always talk about. Excuse me, folks. So one side of it is the Google world, we'll call it. And the other side is the Facebook world. And the irony is, when you look at stocks and things going on right now, they're all still making money and growing. The Google side is your Google My Business. It's your Google search, right? People are finding you. So that relates to SEO, and it also relates to paid advertisement. On the Google side, when you understand all that's available to you there's 4 big pieces, and this is what Jimmy and his team strapped together. So, right, you got your tag manager, right, Jimmy?
Oh yeah.
You got your AdWords, you have analytics, and you have webmaster, right? All
Yep.
four of those products, how much do they cost, Jimmy?
I'm going with zero, John.
Zero. Right? These are tools that Google gives away. But the thing you need to do is you need to connect all your accounts. The tag manager is just like the Facebook pixel that I talk about all the time. So on the Facebook side, you have Facebook and Instagram. Well, they connect back as well. So if you have the tag manager on this side and the tag manager, you actually can load in the Facebook pixel and all that stuff. So you can put one piece of code on your site. But all of that stuff connects backwards out into marketing intelligence.
Yep.
So back to your customers, anybody that comes into your site and touches your website and you have this set up properly, they land in a list in Google and they land in a list in Facebook. And on both of those platforms, we can access that information. They don't give you it. Like, I don't know, John QC Public's name, but there's an ID number and there's an association that he's been attached to it and actions that they've taken, right?
Yep.
The first thing we tell everybody is, get the tag manager connected with your analytics and get it on your site and build a container in tag manager. Container is what gives you the data. And then go to Facebook, get your pixel, put it on your site. That is the bare minimum that we teach.
Yep.
But now, right, is the time where you can go and you can think about what people do when they go to your site, what you want them to do, and you can craft that experience, right? You can funnel them. Okay? Another big, term is how you put them through that process to get them to buy ultimately. And if they don't buy, that's okay too, because now you're at least connected to them. But if you understand that somebody went to your site and they went and they looked at a specific product that you offer or a service that you offer, and you now then can, even like the beauty used to be, Jimmy, right? You used to have an opt-in form and you used to, capture people's information and then you could use it. Now it doesn't matter. As long as they are on Facebook or as long as they go on Google, and I got to think that it's got to be 0.0001%, that are not on that. And if somehow you've avoided those two animals, I'd like to know your name. But the reality is like, as long as you understand the behavior that they took and you know that you can trigger things that you can put in front of them, you can then put things right in front of them. Imagine if you're a detailer and you're selling a paint protection film, I'll use for today's example, but you sell paint protection film. Somebody went to your site, they clicked on paint protection film, they went down and then they clicked on something else and expanded it on your site. Those people are interested in paint protection film and they found you somehow. Hopefully it was your Google ads that worked really well and got them there. But now you know that information. Now you can retarget them and you can have things show up to them, inside, all over the internet. You can put things about all of the great things you're doing with paint protection film. And then on Facebook, you can serve them videos and your content can be very directed to them in your marketing and your advertising on Facebook. So now you're not just raising your hands to everybody saying, look at me, I offer all this stuff, what do you want? Now you already know what they want. So the message can get very, very intimate and personal and you can drive.
It's 6 o'clock.
You can drive buying behaviors. So
Step in real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the things that I wanted to point out is none of what Jonathan and I just spoke of are expensive. Going back to where we're living at in the 3-week period, 6-week period of this Corona, we're not talking about dipping into some serious money. We're looking at $5 a day, $100 campaign. And we're looking at you taking your cell phone and going out to the car and showing them how to install that film. So then if that's what they want to see, they're going to watch that video. So these cell phones are designed now to give high quality pictures. I don't have to go buy a big camera. I don't have to have a nice microphone. I just got to have some decent lighting and be able to talk through it. So what I want the takeaway from this is you don't need to have a lot of money to go touch these people. And if you do a video, it's probably what one of our clients was at 30 cents a click or a conversion kind of a thing. So you get a lot more bang for your buck and then trying to type up the right words in the headline. So just don't be afraid to get on the video. I've got a face for radio, but I do videos all the time.
Nice, Jimmy.
Yeah, I know, right? So I just want to let you guys know it's what we're talking about is not an expensive adventure. So I'll let you get back to it.
No, that's great. If anything, it's an investment of your time. And during any other time of the year, and you're blowing and going in your business, it's not the place you need to be. You need to leave that stuff to experts like Jimmy and myself that do this every day. But right now, you got nothing but time. So, now's the time to understand it and to build up that skill set. So when you come out of this, that stuff is ready. It's built. It's connected properly. I'm telling you, those two are the biggest things going on in marketing right now that we see. The next biggest thing I see is really it's about reputation management, and that's about understanding that people are making comments, and you got to make sure that you're out there. So you got to be connected. And we use a dashboard, so we see everything in one place. But worst case scenario, you got to go look at your Google My Business page. You got to go look at your Yelp page. You got to go look at your Facebook page individually. That's all okay. But you got to pay attention to what's going on out there. And I see it more and more, as I dive back into, operating a really big company, all times a day, every day, there's something popping off on one of those systems. I couldn't possibly manage it going onesie, twosie around to each one, but the dashboard works really well. But you got to pay attention to it. And you got to comment back to people that make comments, good or bad. Okay. I just introduced for my team, I just gave them a whole thing about how people rate us. So we have a system that people rate for the service. If people give us a 4 or a 5, awesome. We push them to go and put that immediately onto whatever site we want, which is cool. If we're working on our Facebook reviews, we put them on there. If we're working on our Google stars, we put them on there. If we're working on Yelp, we'll put them there. And we can direct them where we want. And then anybody rates below that, 1, 2, or 3, it trips off bells and whistles. It contacts me. It contacts the operations, manager for the market. But we just wrote up, we just took a whole bunch of responses that we've been utilizing across all the different platforms, and we put them into just a very simple sheet. And that simple sheet is just a resource. Anybody, we have set stuff that's, if somebody, God forbid somebody gives us a 1 or a 2, we have comments for that. If they give us a 3, we have comments for that. 4 or 5, we're thanking them. But now our team has, 10 different selections under each one of those categories that when they get a review of some sort, they can change it up. They can, and it's essentially copy and paste, but we always craft the message to the person individually. But God, think about how much easier that is.
Yep.
The other great one, Jimmy, that I don't think I've talked about in a long time is the value of the one pager.
Oh yeah.
So the one pager in our world is it's just a document that has all of the basic information about your business in one place. So it has your address, your phone number, your email. It's got long description, short description. It's got your color palette in there, right? So whatever the colors are of your logo and your brand, all of this is just on one piece of paper. And it's just, our tags are on there. So if we're going to go and we're going to tag something on Instagram or on YouTube, it's got all the tags listed. And all it is just that one document, because every time we go and post something, there's all this little bits of information that you got to do. And if you got to keep remembering it or you got to keep looking it up, it's a pain in the ass and it slows you down. We're about efficiency and about, optimizing your time and your value as business owners, right? So the one pager is just boop, boop. You just copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, and boom, you got all the details in there. You can update listings. You can fix, your reviews, all kinds of things off of this one pager, we call it, that lives in the background of every single business that we run. So keep that in mind. That's a beautiful, beautiful shortcut for everybody. What are the big ones on marketing, Jimmy? Right now, I got online booking stuff is really, really popular. Great time to build that out if you've never done it. Getting people to buy online is becoming more and more popular. The restaurant guys, Jimmy, I think the irony of the whole restaurant situation is that, delivery and the Uber Eats and the Grubhubs of the world, all of those guys have just gotten huge traction in the past couple of years. And God, if this is not the day for them to show up. Right?
You know what they did, Jonathan? Grubhub just waived all of their fees. It's like a $50 million loss of revenue for them. to help out the restaurants. But to them, and it's a long-term play, if the customers are getting used to using Uber Eats and the restaurant is getting used to using the system, then when they turn the dollars back on, they're engaged. So it's a really good investment, and both of those guys are doing that. So it's something to think about in this world too. If you can give out a free service and get them to their house because they just can't do it, or they're old and they can't, they're sick, whatever, just go help them, and that they'll be lifetime clients.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, do whatever you can to help people right now. I'm telling you, it pays back tenfold, intrinsically and extrinsically.
Yep.
So one of the things, Jimmy, with the whole delivery and the whole, curbside takeout to go thing that I want people to kind of tweak their brains for, you still should be capturing information. I have a very, very dear friend that manages a restaurant, and she loves all of our stuff. But she can't convince her ownership to really implement like fully automated marketing the way that you and I teach it. So, it's just this ongoing battle. And, every time it comes up, I roll my eyes and I can't have a conversation anymore about it.
Right.
But in this particular time, one of the things that I said was, now is the time for you to start building that list. How do you, the thing that's going to happen is, and it's happening, right? There's like an outcry that people want to go and help restaurants. So they're all going and visiting their favorite restaurants, Takeout Tuesday, things they're doing to support their local businesses, which I love. But at the same time, they're not doing communication around that. And they have it. You're getting the majority of the information. They're already calling you. So you should have their phone number, right? So the first thing you say is, in case we get disconnected, can I have your phone number? And then you say, I'm going to email over your receipt, right? Now I got their email address, and I need to know your name. Boom. There you go. You got all the information you need. Now, when things change, right? If you need to shut off delivery or takeout, or maybe you got a new featured item, right? People are going to get bored as hell because most people have pared down their menus. So, everybody, it's like burgers and pizza and things like that. Well, hey, you can run different things, but they're never going to know that you're running different things unless you communicate. So communicate to those people. Put something in every single bag. Every single bag, you should send them to your website where they can give you a review, they can give you feedback, and when you do that, you can capture their information. I would invite them, certainly, if you're doing takeout and to go, and you're one of those people that didn't listen to me for the past 10 years, I've been beating this drum, and you didn't build an automated loyalty program of any sort, you need to contact me. I will give you the database. Jimmy, are you cool with us giving away free databases?
Oh, very much so.
Okay. We will absolutely give you all of the technology and everything you need to manage your customers' information for free. I just want people to do it. It's so valuable that you have to be using it. And right now, even if one of the things we spent a little bit of time today talking about detailers. One of the things that happens all the time, I talk to detailers and I ask them about their list, and their list lives in like their Gmail, right? Because they email stuff back and forth to people.
Yep.
Or they send them their invoice after they pay, little things like that. I'm like, okay, now's the time, grab an Excel spreadsheet and like pluck those things out of your email. And
Yep.
While you're there, why don't you take some of that great copy that you send all these people, and why don't you make some templates, and all we got to do is just put that stuff into the marketing automation system.
Yep.
And you're done. You have a list, you have people, you have what you say to people, and now you just say it. So I'm telling you, like, it doesn't matter what you did in the past. I won't shame you for, your past sins, but I'm telling you, now is the time to fix your shit.
Can I step in real quick on something?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I was kind of back in the operations, and it ties into the marketing. If in this detailer world, if you have something that is profitable, I like to call it contribution margin. In other words, if it costs me selling it for 50, but I get to keep 35, that is a good contribution margin. So as you're pulling your shit apart, figure out what's really going to make you money, not just so you can sell a bunch of $5 things. But if you don't have volume, you got nothing. But if you can sell 5 things that sell you at $35 into your bank, I'll take that all day long. So you take that information, let's say you take your products down to from 30 down to 15 because they all make you really good money. And now I'm going to make a video about how to use that product. And then I'm going to tell my customers in my email about this product. And all of a sudden, this flow that we talked about earlier, Jonathan, makes financial sense, not just sense. So I just wanted to kind of step on top of, add to, stack on top of everything you just said.
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes into the next two pieces of, that are the pillars. You just rounded together like three things that we all need to be doing. And so one, Jimmy's talking about looking at his sales, right? So you gotta look at what you sell, and you gotta know what is most advantageous for you. And then those items you want to figure out now how you can position them and how you can get, the most financial gain out of those things as you move forward. But now's a great time to do that. Now is the time to figure out what really has made you successful, so that when you come out, you're only doing those things, and maybe even shed a couple things.
That's kind of what I was talking about. Yep.
Yeah. You just a couple things get kicked to the side. That's management to me. Those are things like daily, every day, you guys should be managing your business. You should be looking at all of these different parts and pieces, and how you do it is one with data. And when you have the right data, you can analyze and break things down. Very, people are very personal about what they sell, Jimmy, and what they want to feature. But the reality is it's numbers at the end of the day. So, let your financials dictate what you do in those scenarios.
Absolutely.
So I'm good on time, Jimmy. I'm good on what I've covered today. I do want to dive in over the course of the next week or 2 weeks, right? Stuck in the house. I'm going to dive deeper into each one of the kind of topics, and I'm going to do some show and tell. I'm going to literally bring people in the back end of, Google My Business and show people what that stuff really is. I think a lot of times people don't mess with things because they don't know it. They don't understand it. And two, they don't have time.
Yep.
But they also don't understand that some of these things are really easy, and you can get in and get out of them. And if they knew that, I think that they would engage them much more.
Yep. And I'm going to do some classes on Facebook and the retargeting and the loyalty rewards programs as well, deep diving into that.
Awesome.
I
Cool.
have one thing I wanted to hit you with. There was a promotion that came, a detailer of all things mailed me something this week. It was pretty cool. He offered to, of course, come to my house and do the mobile detail, but he knew that I wanted to get out of. He was suggesting, you've been in the house so long, why don't you come out and work with me and detail it with me, and we can talk and teach. And I'm thinking to myself, all of a sudden I'm going to get a bond with a customer, and 3 months from now he's not going to want to do it because it's 4th of July, so he'll know to call me because we became friends. I'm like, what a brilliant idea. And then the same guy said, I'm holding classes at this parking lot to teach you how to do this with water, without water, it didn't matter. But he's going to teach groups of 5 on how to do certain things, trying to build relationships. Because I called him, so what the hell are you doing? And he said, I'm just trying to build relationships with people, because when this explodes in 9 months, they're going to know me more than they know them, because we had coffee together. We listened to some music. We smoked some cigars. It was like, yep, that's badass. That doesn't cost you any money. You made $100, but you made a friend more than anything. So I just wanted to tell these guys that was something unique that came across.
That's excellent. I'm telling you, I love to hear stuff like that. It's brilliant. It's brilliant for, so I think most people, Jimmy, they don't want to show people what they do because they're afraid that then people are going to do it. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're going to steal it. Right. Well, guess what? YouTube's out there, and it shows people everything anyway.
Yeah.
So, don't worry about your proprietary, technique. It's not about that. I mean,
what do you call it? Wipe on, wipe off.
Yeah, wax on, wax off. The old Karate Kid. So yes, and yes, that's absolutely. There's techniques for that. There's tools, all that kind of stuff. But like Jimmy said, imagine you get somebody out and you actually show them your expertise. So the reason people come to you is because you're an expert, and you're gonna do it the right way. And you need to position yourself that way. And I'm telling you, Jimmy, that was a great example
What about the referrals that those guys are going to give you? I mean, all of a sudden he's talking to his buddy that has another classic car, and he goes, "Dude, you got to go call Paul."
Yeah,
He's got-
absolutely. Oh my God, you could build a killer referral network.
Absolutely.
You won't need to advertise. You know, if you do that well enough, Jimmy, you don't even need to do anything but be available for people to communicate to.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's awesome. Good example. Nice little wrap up there, Jimmy.
I'm glad you liked it.
I did. Hey, I want to thank everybody that joined us. We're going to be doing much more of this. If there's any way we can help you, certainly let us know. I'm going to there's a bunch of links right on the top of Success System Hub for you guys to go get some of the free resources that I talked about. And we're even giving you access to a database. I'll have to put something up there if you guys want to claim that to kind of get your marketing and stuff really tightened together.
I'll give them my information too, Jonathan. If they have questions, I'm glad to help you people out any way I can.
Yeah, I'm going to drop all that. So if you guys are watching this, just go find me on Facebook and I'll put it right with this live and you guys can have at it. And we wish you guys all the best. We're here for you. You need anything, let us know.
Nice to meet you guys.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Now I get it.